a Galene woman knows how to actually switch off. Knowing how to switch off is essential for you to take effective and calm rest throughout your life, and most of us have no idea how to do it. Hello, I'm Cole, your host for A Galene Woman Is podcast, where the only priority is your peace, calm, and self-care routines. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. This time is just for you. So while listening to the episode, for 20 minutes or so, do something you know will just 100% make you feel chilled, comfy, and all things good. I'm currently recording this with some new eye masks on, which I have to say are super cooling and super great, and I'm definitely enjoying it. So come join me while we talk everything self-care related. Give yourself some calm, self-loving time, because I know without a question, it's deserved. Today's episode is about switching off, turning it all down, actually putting yourself in that space that will elevate you and your self-care from something mediocre to incredibly and deeply relaxing. If you're like me, actually switching off sounds so easy, but is actually so far from it when it actually comes down to doing it. It took me such a long time to actually know why true relaxation meant setting boundaries with the outer world and nurturing that inner peace. It's got to be like a universal experience that when you get some time to chill, watch a movie, kind of just take a proper break, all you do is sit there the whole time and worry about something else. I have done this countless times, scrolling through emails and the to-dos in the evening when I should be sitting and chilling or lying in bed thinking about 100 things instead of sleep. It's just that concept of, I have a really important deadline and that's all I can think about, and switching off is just not even vaguely close to happening. And now you add that in with the fact that we're all hooked up to our phones and just waiting for the next buzz for stuff we have to do. Taking a proper break for our brain is just so incredibly difficult. But if we always use our time to worry about the next thing, when are we actually relaxing? Almost never. And to me, that is so scary. I really feel like that framework changed my entire perspective. The idea of running on a hamster wheel and kidding ourselves that staring at our phones or laying in bed thinking about everything under the sun that could possibly stress us out in that moment will solve the issue and we can claim that we rested. It feels like a yeah, duh kind of thing, but when you really take a look at how you spend your time, particularly the restful moments, how many of you feel comfortable enough to say, yeah, I really do just switch off? Because trust me, there's been so many times, too many times, where I could definitely say that was not what I was doing. I really want to make a point now that this is not your fault. Truly, there is little to no voices out there telling you how to switch off. It's just vaguely thrown around that we should. So this is something that definitely is embedded in our culture, not in you. This is totally linked as to why so many of us can't switch off and relax. We've all had it ingrained in us that busyness is equated to productivity and success, i.e. constant activity and work are the virtues of life, the thing we should all be striving for. Not only does this mentality lead to culturally all of us overworking, but where taking time to rest will always be viewed, even if it's just subtly, as laziness or a lack of ambition. This isn't to say we should all stop working, but it's to recognize that balance, whatever that may look like for you, should be the goal, not the constant pursuit of work with rest as some sort of consolatory prize. And now you add in that technology now means that we're all hyper-connected, constantly receiving notifications, messages, and a permanent influx of information. Our brains really do have no space to rest, perpetually jumping from one task to another or consuming endless streams of content all the time. Even just saying that makes me feel really tired. Having that break of quiet, non-buzzing space has become more important than ever. I get it. We all feel that social pressure to stay informed. I absolutely do, especially when so much of my work is online. FOMO is certainly real, people, but disconnecting should not feel as impossible as it does. There will always be the opportunity to find out what happened and engage socially, but prioritizing yourself should not be sacrificed for that. So how do we do it? How do you do it? So all the little tips and ideas we've given you for your self-care can actually feel restful in a whole new way. Let's talk about several practical steps that will really help you disconnect, feel good about your time, and actually fully enjoy your downtime. First up, setting those boundaries. Flexible work and time are amazing until you're sat in front of your laptop at 9:30 stressing about which font to put your email to your boss in. It's not it, guys. Defining your work or productivity time is essential. This doesn't have to be daily, although as a Galene self-care representative, I would totally advise that. But you can mark days of your week to rest and for work. But that definition of what time is what is key. It gives you not only the mental space to say, I have to do this task by this point and then everything is off, but it's also just a bit of a kick up the butt and a personal motivator. Second is creating a ritual with it. Having things you do every time you come to switch off is a signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. It really doesn't have to be complicated. A simple cup of tea or changing into some comfortable clothes. That pre-relaxation ritual just helps set the scene and ease into it. That little habit will do wonders. Especially if you want your switch off routine before bed, this is a natural classic. Going tech free. This probably depends on the kind of person you are and how well you drift off to sleep, but ultimately aiming for 30 minutes to an hour before bed with no screen time, mainly your phone and laptop on this one, but watching TV still does contribute to feeling awake and feeling the buzz, but it is to a lesser degree, prevents the bombardment of information that we both know will keep your brain super activated and buzzing. It's time to pick up that book you've been neglecting, a soothing podcast, or just some calming music while you go about the rest of your evening and nightly routine. The next one is some sort of mindfulness activity. Of course, this can be meditation, but breath work or just acknowledging each of your senses just for 5 minutes is enough to turn your brain down to calm mode. You'll probably already have a bit of a sense as to what kind of mindfulness works for you. If you're a 30 minutes of meditation kind of person or just 5 minutes of focusing on your breath, all that matters is that you do it. Slip it into your pre-relaxation routine, i.e. making that tea, and it will make a world of a difference to your state of calm. The fifth idea is a physical unwinding. For me, this is absolutely just a good stretch for my back, my shoulders, my neck after a long day or just a morning really of typing away and working. Engaging in a little physical activity that's gentle like stretching or just a calm walk allows for more presentness and all those restful feelings to flood in. This can also be a great time to do your mindful activity, paying attention to those natural sounds around you on your walk, taking note of the things you see, smell. It can just be so great to amalgamate some of those switch-off methods that I've given, because so many of them can go hand in hand without being stressful or overwhelming, even vaguely. They are brilliant at just promoting that rest and relaxation. Another option, and one I would definitely recommend if you're trying to take an afternoon, evening off and engage in some serious relaxation time, is a nurturing environment. What I mean by this is building that calming space that signals not only to your brain but also to you that this time is now for peace. Whether it's dim lights, scented candles, blankets, linen PJs, you've got your thing, whatever floats your boat. Add it into the environment that makes you feel safest and calmest and just snuggle in. The best bit about switching off is it prioritizes your leisure. It gives you the time and space that you've specifically dedicated to your rest to engage in any hobby that makes you feel at peace. Be it painting, gardening, it really just doesn't matter at all. All it has to do is make you happy. Something you could do while you sit and do your calming thing is listen to a calming podcast or some music that doesn't require any mental effort. It helps you build on that ambience we were talking about earlier and just adds a sprinkle of peace to your already relaxed state. Now you have a little tool basket of switch off habits that you can really engage with to really bring about your relaxation. I really hope those help. However, of course, some things will work better than others, and I would strongly recommend trying a few different things to find out what's best for you. The beautiful thing about every one of those steps is none of them will bring you any stress at all. And if they do, you should definitely take a step back and actually ask yourself, what is making me stressed here? Because I can guarantee it's a little pesky outside force and not what you're attempting to do. There are definitely a few things I would recommend avoiding when trying to truly switch off, many of which you probably already know. But there's a good reason to avoid them, no matter how tempting. If your brain isn't fully given the space to actually switch off and is hardwiring lots and lots of stress and info during what you're trying to label as your rest, those relaxing habits you're trying to form become pretty much useless and also associated with the wrong things. I will give you a little list, of course, of things you should probably avoid, just so you can keep them in mind when you're figuring out your downtime. The first thing is to try and keep your rest simple and try not to overschedule. It's super tempting to do all the things you find relaxing at one time with back-to-back leisurely activities, but it can lead to a feeling of rush, stress as you try and get everything done all at once. Being effective with your switch off and relax habits means allowing unstructured time to simply be, without commitment or a packed agenda. If you really are wanting some structure, put in your diary that between, 7 and 9 p.m. you're relaxing. But that's it. That's all you should do, because giving yourself the freedom to breathe is the important part of this. It's also important to resist the urge to multitask. It keeps your mind busy and it makes it super hard to disengage from the stresses of daily life. All of the examples I gave you earlier can be done at the same time because they don't require your brain to give it too much effort. Whereas if you're watching a movie, you really should just put your phone down because it's trying to take in two different lots of content. If you're listening to a podcast that's particularly engaging, definitely don't try and journal about how you're feeling at the same time, because again, you're just going to get a little bit overwhelmed and when you're trying to focus on the thing you're doing. It's better to just have one relaxing activity at one time to truly benefit from the restorative effects that taking a break can really have. And of course, and this is definitely the most important thing you could take from this, is don't ignore those physical cues. If you're tired, stressed, and ignoring that in effort to push through the next activity or day, and if you're doing this consistently, it's incredibly detrimental to your health. Listen to yourself, your body's signals, i.e. tiredness, tensions, irritability, brain fog. These are your indicators that you should be taking a step back. If you don't, you have just given yourself a one-way ticket to burnout and decreasing mental and physical health. And that's not what you want. It's as bad as getting sick. You have to consider what your body is saying to you. So, what does switching off look like to you? Is it just turning your phone off, spending time in nature, or perhaps just sitting quietly with your thoughts? Whatever it is, I absolutely encourage you to make it a regular part of your life. Don't forget to check out Galene Company's blog for more resources on effective rest and relaxation techniques and things to do. Share your thoughts with us and your experiences of this on social media at Galene Company _ on Instagram, and I think we're at Galene Woman is on TikTok. We love hearing how you incorporate self-care into your daily life. I hope you had an opportunity to take this time for yourself and that this little bit of self-care has really eased your day. Make sure you find some time soon if you didn't get the chance, because switching off from the world will do you wonders. Our next episode will be announced on Wednesday on our Instagram at GaleneCompany_, as I said earlier, and our weekly self-care tea email is also there to keep your self-care inspired and wonderful should you need it. That comes out on a Wednesday as well. The sign-up box is on both our website and on our social medias. It's all there, all accessible, super, super easy and chilled. Until next time, my darlings, take care. You deserve it.